Deep in the 10 million acre wood, Pooh is reading the daily newspaper.
I don't know who is she. Where is she?
I'm just not normal at all. This isn't the way hair is supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
Hey everyone, it's Wildman, and in today's video I did want to show you guys a collection of YouTube videos that I found incredibly disturbing. Also, what's really cool is that we do have a lot of variety here. We have some videos featuring some beloved childhood icons, the terrifying concept of virtual pets, because I mean having a virtual creature think it's alive is pretty existential, and a dark and twisted take on a childhood myth. So do be prepared to lose some sleep after this video because I'm probably going to be doing the same. But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It does a cool animation now, as well as liking the video and commenting bruh as always, because all these things actually do help me out a lot. So if you could do them, that'd be awesome. Thank you. But real quick, sponsor time. Cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. And we're not talking about some crazy mind control just to get you to stop. We're talking about our sponsor Fume, and they look at the problem in a very different way. Not everything in a bad habit is so wrong, so instead of a drastic uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from the habit? Fume is an innovative award-winning device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air, and instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural delicious flavors. You get instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habits very easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. And we have partnered with Fume in the past, and honestly my time using it has been just as good. I especially like the mint flavor because it feels so fresh. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that it can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com/wowman or scan the QR code and use code WOWMAN to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Fume Solano launched last November. You can upgrade your Journey Pack to the Solano to enjoy the premium walnut barrel and onyx black coated mouthpiece that has a smoother finish and still get 10% off. And in celebration of the new year, Fume is running a double the cores offer right now, where you will receive double the amount of core packets that you order to support you on this journey. That's tryfum.com and use code WOWMAN to save an additional 10% off on your order today. So for this first video, it's called the Wonderful Garfield, which does take the beloved cartoon newspaper icon and turn it into something far more sinister. Within it, it starts off by telling us that this is a virtual pet experience, similar to games like the Tamagotchi, Nintendogs, and Pooh, if you guys remember that one. I actually wanted to download Pooh the other day too, but it turns out it costs like $3 now, which is insane. When you start up the game, John greets you and tells you that before we begin, he wants you to answer some questions about yourself. And the first question is, what is your favorite color? However, this is followed by, can you perceive frequencies above 20k hertz? The player answers yes. And now this may seem insignificant at first, but this piece of information can actually tell us how old the player actually is. Because before we reach adulthood, our ears can actually perceive higher frequencies. From infants to very young children, they can hear up to 20k hertz. But when we start to reach adulthood/teenage years, our ability to hear these high frequencies lowers significantly. It ends up lowering to 15 to 17k hertz on average. And so based off of their answer, which is no, they cannot hear frequencies above 20k hertz, we can gauge that they're somewhere in their teenage years/adulthood. But then it asks, do you have teeth? If yes, why? And the person answers no. Were you born before or after the Grand Collapse? Before. Have you suppressed memories from the last 5 years? No. Are you sure? No. It's okay. What is your favorite flavor of nutritional supplement Prism? serotonin. And now, based on all of the answers to all of these questions, I am under the impression that the person playing this game is an adult. However, the bit about them not having any teeth is very odd, as the likelihood of you losing your teeth the older you get is a factor to consider, but older people still suffer higher rates of gum disease, dental decay, oral mouth infections, and tooth loss. So this could be someone in that age range who is playing this game, or perhaps something far darker. We don't really know. The game continues, and John thanks you for the information that you've provided him. The person names the Garfield Johnfrey, and the game follows the same structure as other pet simulation games. You have Johnfrey's hunger bar, a fun bar, and an overall health bar. John then begins to tell you how to feed your Johnfrey, but warns you about the dangers of overfeeding him. But the player completely ignores this, and you are forced to take him to the medication pantry in order to help him recover. Because as a result of all of these that you've begun to give to Johnfrey, he evolves into this weird hybrid of a cat/car, having wheels for legs and a mouth that's the front of a car. But then Johnfrey's fun meter depletes like crazy, but then this happens when you try to play with him. The end screen stating, "Thanks for playing the demo version of my Wonderful Garfield. Consider purchasing the full version to form an indefinite bond with your furry friend. For now, take some time to mourn the loss of Johnfrey. The next time you open the program, your save data will reset." And at this point, you'd assume the video to be over. I mean, the Johnfrey demo is complete, but there is one final thing that happens that is incredibly dark. Because when you log back into the game, you're shown an urn containing your deceased Garfield. Yeah, this one is incredibly unsettling, especially if you're someone who used to play these pet simulation games as a kid. I mean, I can't imagine all the Nintendogs that are just rotting in those old DS's. And for me, all I can think about are my poor Puffles that got lost with Club Penguin. Alright, so this next one is a little bit different as it is a YouTube short, but it is incredibly freaky and I had to include it here. Also, what's kind of lame is that I do have to censor a lot of parts of this video, which will be kind of annoying to edit, but again, I really wanted to put it here. So the video depicts the childhood tradition of leaving your teeth after they've fallen out of your mouth under your pillow for the tooth fairy to come and collect. And in exchange, you'd wake up to some money that you've been granted as a result of your mythical transaction. And honestly, the tooth fairy is a really cool concept for helping kids get rid of their baby teeth and not be so afraid when they start to fall out. Because instead of getting scared, you get pretty excited because you're going to wake up to some money under your pillow. However, when you turn this fantasy into nightmare fuel, you get something like this. Because in the video, the person puts their tooth under their pillow for the tooth fairy to come. However, the tooth fairy's depiction is very off-putting as they resemble this horse-like creature with a multitude of teeth in their mouth to resemble all of the teeth that they've collected from children. And at first, the fairy takes the tooth left under the pillow and leaves the cash. However, upon seeing the person's fine teeth, they decide to leave more money. But in exchange, they rip out all of the person's teeth in a gruesome mess. Also, what's super unsettling about this video is that it uses this quirky 2006 YouTube prank song, like if this is just a silly little video. Including this one about a sleep paralysis demon. So maybe we'll dig more into this channel in a future Disturbing YouTube Channels video. Alright, so this next video is called A Dream, and this one kind of just popped up on my recommended feed without me even trying to look for stuff. The video also only has 66 views, which creeped me out even more because there's no telling what's inside of this video. Within it, it describes this reoccurring dream that the protagonist is having, dreaming of a girl in the same place and the same time, but there's always something slightly different about it.
I dream about that girl every year. I don't know who is she. Where is she? Or even if it's a real person. But it's always the same place, same girl, same mood, but always have something different in it. Is always a continuous dream.
The video is very short, only about 25 seconds, but there was something that struck me with curiosity within this video, just given how obscure it was and how it doesn't really lead anywhere, at least for now. Just a depiction of a person reliving the same dreams every night, but something is off. A really short video, but an extremely unsettling one nonetheless. Alright, so going on to the next one, it's called Pooh's Fantastic Adventure, which was also created by Exploshi, who made the Garfield video that we just looked at. In this video, we're brought into the fantastical world of the 100-acre woods, and are greeted by the icon of this land, Winnie the Pooh.
Deep in the 10 million acre wood, Pooh is reading the daily newspaper.
However, Pooh is rather irresponsible. I mean, I think he's pretty irresponsible in the films and TV shows, but here it's pretty bad. Because in it, Pooh forgets to pay his bills, and so his electricity is shut off.
Has shut down Pooh's electricity.
Not again. Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
He has failed to pay his bill for 2 months.
But to raise his spirits, Pooh decides to go and enjoy the relaxation of nature alongside a nice pot of honey. But what Pooh has failed to realize is that this particular pot of honey has expired 49 years ago.
Pooh is guzzling down his most favorite honey ever.
I could eat this forever.
Unfortunately, this particular honey pot went out of date 49 years ago.
And so the poor honey bear is brought to the emergency room with hopes of recovering from the food poisoning that the honey gave him. So already it's a pretty dark setup. I mean, Pooh getting food poisoning and being sent to the emergency room. But the most morbid part of this video is that while Pooh is recovering in the ICU, Piglet has switched the liquid in his IV with battery ed.
I hope I make a swift recovery.
Unfortunately, naughty Piglet replaced the liquid in Pooh's IV drip with battery ed.
The art style in this video is incredibly disturbing, and taking a childhood icon like this and giving it a dark twist will always be horrifying. Also, fun fact is that honey is one of the only foods that doesn't spoil. If it's stored in a glass jar and kept in a dark cupboard, it will never spoil, which is pretty cool. And this is due to its low water content and acidic pH. And an even more interesting fact is that there was actually honey found in King Tut's tomb, which was discovered in 1922 that was still edible, surprisingly. Among the treasures discovered during the famous 1922 archaeological excavation of King Tut's tomb was a jar of honey. Archaeologists tasted it, brave souls those archaeologists, and to their amazement found it to be as sweet as, well, honey. But even though honey doesn't expire, this is still an incredibly disturbing video. Alright, so for this last video, it's called We Can No Longer Help You, which does take on that 90s Storytime Kids TV show kind of approach. And the video tells the story of a little girl named Srebrenica. When Srebrenica was born, her mother and father lived in a far-off country and decided to name their child Srebrenica.
Was a little girl who was born in a country far away. Her mom and dad named her Srebrenica because they'd heard of such a land, a city named that it had a hard time, but then come back into a peaceful state. So they thought that would be a nice name for their new baby.
However, as nice as things were for the couple with their newborn baby, a storm began to approach the family's home, and this is where things start to take a turn. Because while the parents were bringing in things that they had outside to protect from the storm, clothes, tools, etc., little Srebrenica was left inside to play. But as the storm approached, it ended up taking down the entire house. It took everything, including her parents.
And blew and raised the curtains and blew parts of the house away until finally everything in the house blew away and little Srebrenica was left all alone. She couldn't find her mommy and daddy, and they couldn't find her. They'd been blown far away too.
Little Srebrenica was left alone, that is until a wolf came by and took the child far away from her home. And so Srebrenica would be raised by wolves and among other wolf pups.
She was going to introduce her to the other pups. Here's your new sister, she told the other pups.
But things would get increasingly odd the more time that the baby would spend living with the wolves. And with hunger consuming the child, Srebrenica would eat the rat her new mother had brought her.
And killed. She left the rat on the floor of the cave and went back out to look for other prey. Srebrenica and her new puppy brothers and sisters slept and slept until Srebrenica began to feel hungry, and they all opened their eyes, and Srebrenica looked around and she saw the dead rat that the mother wolf had left. She sat up and reached for it, took a little bite. This isn't bad. She tasted it and then she shared it with all her brothers and sisters, and they all enjoyed a good meal.
But then years would pass and Srebrenica was still with her wolf family, and at this point she was eating worms, spiders, pretty much anything that she could find, including rats. However, with this diet, it would also start to have an effect on the way that the child would look. And it's pretty safe to say that she was extremely malnourished and her hair began to change colors as well. After all these years away from home, it made her no longer human, having been raised by wolves. However, being human was something she longed to be once again, while Srebrenica's wolf mother became concerned with this longing her daughter had of becoming human once again.
I'm just not normal at all. This isn't the way hair is supposed to be. She dreamed of becoming a person again, like her mother and father. She had only the strangest rememberings of them. But her wolf mother was very concerned because Srebrenica wasn't acting like the other wolf pups.
And while Srebrenica went to sleep and dreamt of a dinosaur who would teach her how to be human once more.
Who are you? Asked Srebrenica. And the dinosaur said, I am your teacher. You do want to be a human again, don't you? Well, let me tell you how. You have to follow the paths in the forest out to where the houses of humans are. You must follow the path until you find a house, and then you must look inside and imitate the people inside, because really you are one of them. You're not a wolf, and I know you're not a dinosaur. We're all extinct. I'm just a green dinosaur.
This video is extremely unsettling. It tells a story of a little girl who was taken by wolves, raised on eating spiders and rats to keep her alive, until the day would come where she yearned to be human again, but that time has passed. But yeah, feel free to let me know which one of these creepy videos freaked you out the most. For me, it was honestly this last one. There's something so sad and dark about a little girl being adopted by wolves, yearning to be human once more. It's really existential and very creepy the way the video is presented. And huge thank you to my channel members and my ultimate tiers, Dreadator, Kareem Arellano, Alejandro from the Tower, K-Pop Lover X3, and 1998. If you want early access to videos and your name right here, it's only $1.99. But yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's always super great. Your time is super valuable, so I appreciate you spending it with me. And yeah, see you later. Bye. Love ya.